E-commerce with Cocktails Podcast, the only podcast dedicated to e-commerce technology professionals and cocktail aficionados. With your hosts, Gary Schock, Brian Gillespie, and John Tench.
Hey guys, welcome back. Another episode, Commerce and Cocktails. I think Brian had it right. We need to call this Cocktails and Commerce. We got Mr. Beechin joining us again. He's got something he's brewing up there. We'll let the audience try to figure out what that is. Let's have him put this together, and we'll do a little name that tune exercise maybe at the end. What does he think? So today, guys, this is about innovation, right? This is about doing some really cool stuff to help our clients. Oh my God, that drink's coming together. So John, Brian, what are some of the stuff? We're up to some amazing things, right? You can't be in the commerce business if you're not constantly thinking about what's next and what's right. Now. Yeah.
Yeah. You can't just answer the mail anymore and say, "Hey, we got your patch. We put this new feature in the product," right? People are looking for, things that are, yes, feature rich, but that help them leapfrog their competition, right? And you got to innovate quickly, right? You gotta innovation, I think, is in bite-sized chunks. It's not in, we are going to develop this giant strategy that is going to take us 42 years to implement. Yeah, and you never see any results of any of that, right?
Yeah,
I think the key to innovation is, you just go and deliver that little chunk that to somebody at the beginning of it, like, I don't even know why you're doing that. Well, that makes no sense at all. Well, and then you go, well, look, in phase 3, this is what this turns into. Oh, it's a building block that you build on from the last time and you iterate on top of that, right? And I really love the approach of MVP, the MVP approach, right?
Yeah.
I've been in projects, man, where people are like, "Oh, let's work on our 42-year plan." Oh, that was a great looking cocktail.
Speaking of innovation, there you go.
Yeah, there's some innovation. He didn't have a 42-year plan. He had a few simple ingredients there. Anyway.
You mentioned the word sticky before, and this is a very sticky drink. But welcome to Baby Yoda from The Mandalorian.
Wow. What all's in it, JB? Like, I can see the cherries and the lime, but
this is called a Baby Yoda Teeny. It has obviously limes for the ears, maraschino cherries for the eyes, and you have a mix of tequila blanco, creme de menthe, and a little dash of absinthe.
Oh man! Now we're talking. Back to the point, right? Innovative drink, innovative ideas. You're right. It's not an island. You can't go and create this huge thing and hope people will buy it. You can't do it in an island. You got to do it informed. It's amazing we've got a platform that lets us do that.
Well, I think you're spot on there, Gary, too. It's not on an island. And I think John's, John's innovation team, along with all of our teams, Gary's go-to-market team and the product management team, it's really getting off that island and really involving our customers that are driving those innovations. And I will say it's also about failing fast. We talked about, I don't know how many times John, Mr. Beechin up there has failed making the Yoda Teeny martini, Yoda Teeny, whatever that thing is, but
Baby Yoda Teeny.
Baby Yoda Teeny. See the ears falling off. See, he's failing, but that's okay. But my point is, though,
put it back
we have the ability to fail fast, learn, and repeat, and continually evolve on what we're working on very fast through the innovation team, and then getting the affirmation from our customers that this is exactly where we're going. To John's point, 10, 20 customers are saying this is what we need. Then we productize it. So Go ahead, John.
Oh, I just think about the failing fast and gathering that content from the customer. It's not like we just sat here and said, "Oh, this should be a great idea." What we did was, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Customer, what do you need? What kind of problems are you facing? And I was like, we've got an idea of what we think they might be. And they kind of go through it. We'll put it in backlog. We'll we'll quantify it and say, it'd be really great if we did a quick POC on XYZ.
Yeah.
Some of it's to help our customer base. Some of it's to help us build building blocks for things that we build in the future to help our customer base, right? Not everything that comes out of the POC team is absolutely deliverable right away, right? It may be the building block for something that we'll build in the future. I think we were talking about image search, right? And the first pass at image search,
Yeah.
we were able just to tell you if it was a bed or not. Our second pass of it at image search, though, well, we can tell you if it's a bed. We can tell you what kind of bed it is, what the product page is for that bed, how much that bed would cost, maybe other competitors that would have that bed. So as you begin to iterate on those types of building blocks, man, you really end up with things that customers are striving for. And then you begin to leapfrog. So with just a few of the things that we've had come out of the Innovation Factory, I think about some of our customers that are in other parts of the world that were like, that's some of the coolest stuff we've seen. How do we get that? We've been able to give it to them as an asset, which means it's not been productized. Been able to give it to them as an asset right away. And they're like, oh my goodness, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah, we did it in a couple weeks.
And there's something about having a comprehensive platform, right? That when our strategy is rooted in expanding on the comprehensive nature of it,
Yes.
the fact that we've got such a strong base to work from with a lot of rich data, a lot of underlying stuff that's already solved for, that is the really hard stuff to do. If you're an API framework or a SaaS provider, you can't do this really. You can mock it up, but you actually can't do it because we've got the data we have and can get the insights out of that data because we've got the whole thing, right? Image search is possible. Voice search is possible. What are some of the other things you guys are cooking on? And Brian, I'd love to hear too, what's the lab, what's their reaction? I mean, it's one team really, but when we get into development, the energy that they're getting out of seeing some of this stuff work. Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
and that's the beauty of it. I mean, what they're getting from the innovation team and handing off to them, it's not complete, but it's something new. It's something exciting.
Yeah.
They get to take that innovation, they get to rip it, tear it down, right? Tear it down to the basics, productize it so it's scalable, right? So we know it's repeatable. So it can be expanded and extended by our customers. So it's not just the innovation team that gets the excitement. The lab then gets to take and continue the excitement through the innovation and productizing that technology.
Well, to that point, we've taken some of the hard work away. And I wouldn't say the hard work because there's a lot of hard work in the productization. But we've taken is it a good idea or not?
The problem itself,
right?
The validation. It's the validation
of it.
Yep.
That is, and then we feed that right back in. And I'll tell you, even it's kind of gotten fun a little bit of we don't think it'll work. Well, we'll go try it. Right? There's a little bit of that kind of stuff that's happened. And we've been able to drive out some really great results for some customers that have kind of hit a bottleneck with where some of the limitations of technologies are. When I think about innovation, you just kind of need the idea and the curiosity. And Gary, I saw a great note from you this morning about being curious, right?
Yeah.
I've had the pleasure to manage some very curious people over the years. Some folks will walk in a room and go, "Oh, that's a light switch. Oh, wow. I just turned the lights on." Some folks will walk in a room and go, "There's a light switch. Oh, there's another light switch." Right? And before you know it, they've turned on every light in the house. And I think that innovation, right, comes from a lot of those people that go in a room and turn on the light switch and go, "Oh my gosh, not only is there a light switch, there's a whole row of them. I need to know what every one of those light switches do." And what we've kind of the culture that we've been lucky enough to build here is maybe I'm going to coin another term, a light switch culture, right? Where you come in, you turn it on, you've got to go turn on the next thing. You got to turn on the next thing. And that breeds innovation. And I just know where we've been. I know where we're at and I know where we're going. And what we've been able to do in the last year, right? We have been able to turn on a lot of light switches.
Yeah.
I have the feeling, and I just know what we're cooking up in the future. I think I've got a whole room full of light switches and I got a whole lot of electricians that are building another room full of light switches right in front of us, right? So it's exciting times to be able to innovate like that, to be funded to innovate, to have a team that says, man, just give me all the light switches I can get. And we like to go and play in Google quite a bit. You want to talk about a bunch of light switches? Good night. Right? And then go ahead, JB.
Sorry, I've switched away from the Baby Yoda Teeny now, but
great drink.
And I'm sure Brian will agree with me on this. There's a time for rigor and there's a time for speed. Yeah. Within the product development organization, we need to make sure that things work at the highest possible volume that a customer can pump through. 70, 80, 100,000 orders per hour, very, very heavy volumes. But if that's our only mindset, we're never going to innovate like you are and your team is. So I like this dichotomy, this yin and yang of an innovation team that works fast and a product team that works with rigor, because then we can get the best of both worlds going. We can get fast innovation, new ideas, unburdened by all the rules and regulations that slow us down. But then what comes in our product has gone through that rigor of making sure it's secure, it's performant, it's working in multiple languages. It's all the things that people expect from a multinational commerce product like ours.
Well said, JB. That world class, right? That rigor is necessary.
Well, and I think the fun thing is where our scale is and our remit, our focus, everything we talk to Darren, our CEO, about. Our strategy is to go really, really hard on the rigor. It's to go really thorough on exactly what we do great, right? That can be just basic things that we're doing into our releases around analytics and around search, all the core capabilities you kind of expect, and you want to keep adding. But we also have to be able to tackle some problems that haven't been solved, that just haven't been solved. Like we were talking the other day about, just riffing on one example. How do we actually automate a lot of unique tasks today? Like we talked analytics, right? Great to have analytics. How do I make this thing more automated, or at least give the ability to make it automatable? Sure, that's a word. If I choose to. Today it's a word.
Automatable.
Right? I remember a particular client we were talking to. It's like, yeah, I'm not going to give up my hands on the steering wheel. I'm going to make all the decisions. Other clients are going, no, I'd like some decisions made for me. Having that ability to turn a dial on high degree of automation, low degree of automation, and then be able to even acid test that experience. That could be done with search. That could be done through browse, shopping. That could be done through product recommendations, product configuration. You start thinking about what's possible there to automate the tasks, to put products and offers and bundles together. The sky's the limit on what's possible there.
Well, I think that's something behind all that. It's data.
Well, and John, I was about to say, John, hot data. But and John, to your point, now you have all this data. Every organization has an overabundance amount of data right now. What do you do with it? What do you do with it?
Unless they're right, and I think that's where the innovation comes.
Exactly.
What we want out of the innovation team, the innovation factory, and eventually out of a product is to help customers solve issues that they don't even know they have yet. Right? We get to innovate. They get to innovate. Everybody gets. So look at that. Think about that from a snowball perspective. Man, It just starts moving faster and faster and faster and faster. And before you know it, you've innovated so much and you've done so many great, wonderful things. Your business has expanded, right? And it's just an absolutely amazing effect that happens when you also have to have a culture for innovation, right? So once you breed that culture for innovation, I believe that'll start showing its way through products. And not because we've got a partnership with them. I think Google's a great example there.
Yeah.
I've tried to do very much Google Fridays. And Brian, you participate in this with me.
Mm-hmm.
Where Fridays, sometimes as a leader, I have to go to some meetings. But Fridays are about, brainstorming. We'll get together, and in a brainstorming session, John gets to take part, and so does Aaron. We'll come into a brainstorming session, kind of sometimes with a topic. Sometimes we won't have a topic at all. Sometimes we'll be like, What are you doing this weekend? But just even having those conversations where you're talking, where you're relaxed, and all of a sudden one idea starts bouncing off of another idea, another idea. And you may be starting to innovate something that when you walked into that conversation that you never even thought you would talk about that day.
You need to have the virtual water cooler as well.
Yes.
That's one thing we all miss in this time where we're all virtual, but there's some great things that come about from people just bumping into each other and riffing off a topic. So I like those. I like what we're doing there because we don't come with an agenda. We don't come with a time frame. We just come with a bunch of passion for trying to think about what we could do better. That's
why I called it being infinitely curious. You come with curiosity. If that's in your DNA, this is where you want to be, right? This is what we're about, infinitely curious. And I keep calling it a creative democracy, which is we're working on thoughts that change how business operates today. I was with a client last week, big, huge B2B, does fabulously well in the SMB segment, right? In terms of engaging their B2B buyers in that segment, not so great at the enterprise level.
Yep.
And so instead of talking to the client about, HCL Commerce can support engaging enterprise clients and we have contracts and you can onboard them, we didn't start there. We started more around what's the process? What is the journey, right? We have sellers and those sellers have relationships with those firms. Okay. So how does digital interact at that level with the seller and support the seller assisted selling experience, as it were, in the macro? Right? To where the firm is engaging digitally, but then seamlessly gets to the seller and then back and forth collaboration. Solve that problem. Okay, here's how it's made manifest in commerce. By the way, here's the 4 innovation things that we need to go create to make that more seamless, more automated.
Yep.
Right? What are the 4 or 5 things we need to do there? And then that drops into your team, John. And we pilot out 3 or 4 use cases, throw away 1 or 2 of them.
Yep. 3 or 4 use cases. Here's your JSON. It's about this simple. And here's big. Really? Yeah. Problem solved. Next one. Right. And then it just snowballs. It snowballs so fast.
Well, and I know, Brian, you speak, speaking on behalf of the development organization, right? I think too, we think of Stephanie Hayward's team, right? And her experience, which is the subject matter expert delivery practitioner skill set. I mean, this is a great example of how we're taking advantage of their knowledge and experience to know this is practically delivered. It can be delivered. So it's surrounded with, go-to-market defines us as a whole, right? It's development. Can this be productized? It's innovation. Is it applicable and useful? Does it have bearing? Can it scale and grow? And then, is it a new idea? Please tell me this is a new idea, something I hadn't thought of. But stop making me go find the next firm in Silicon Valley or in India or wherever, or in China, wherever innovation's happening. Stop making me find it. That's what I'm paying you to go figure out for me. And then Stephanie's team gives us the practicality of, I can deliver that. That could be actually integrated. It can be enable. Our partners can get enabled around it or involved in it. Right. Yep. I mean, that's us.
It is. I think John's team, you guys are up in the clouds, right? Thinking those big ideas. And that's great. You need those. Fail fast, the big shiny object, right? You have Stephanie's team. They're the more realists, right? They're boots on the ground. They're sitting there working with our customers, making sure everything is working, flawlessly.
Especially right now during holiday, right?
That's right. Yeah. But I think the comedy, and I think it's the culture here, right? And it's the culture that we bring. You have all these different integral parts of our organization that interact with our customers, that you can drive that innovation, but you can also ensure that you're going to perform.
Guys, this is game changing. A great example of innovation that we're scaling out, Sophie, right? John, I mean, you were hot on you were like on the blazing trail of this. It was 6-8 months ago. I mean, it was back early on, and we were getting this thing moving, and it's real. We need to talk about that.
I mean, so I'll put so I also work with the demo team, right? So just imagine walking into a customer's room, office, conference room, now a virtual Zoom meeting, right? And going, hey, this was the concept I always envisioned was, you know what? I'm ready to do your demo. Matter of fact, the environment that we're going to use for your demo day, I'm going to create in front of you.
It
right
doesn't
in front of you.
exist. It doesn't exist.
Doesn't even
Yeah.
exist. I'm going to click the button. You and I are going to walk down and get a cup of coffee. And when we get back, your environment will be up and running. Bull crap is what I would say as a customer. But like, there's no way. There's smoke and mirrors going on there. Well, the truth is we're actually doing it, right? We can start that environment from nuts to bolts, have it up, running. I can be modifying CSS and loading that customer's catalog right in front of them with a brand new environment that I created. In my past, what we just talked about, that was weeks, maybe a week. It was a long time. And that didn't matter the platform. I mean, that was, and I've worked with other platforms. That's not just HCL Commerce. That's other platforms that I've worked with. Right. So I just, the project life of, are the environments ready? Is dev done? Is QA done? When can we start dev? But like, how about you can start dev in about 10 minutes? What?
Mm-hmm.
You can start dev? Where are your developers? Why are your developers not ready? Where are they? I'm ready to go.
Yeah, you can take a short vacation usually if you're the development team.
Yeah. Be like, oh, we're still doing define and design while they're trying to get the first environment up and running. No, that's over now. So I also think that also ties back into innovation. If I'm not worrying about how to stand up an environment and do all that kind of stuff, I can get to writing code a lot faster.
That's right.
Which gives me a quicker time to market, blah, 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 blah. All that stuff we talk about.
Solve the actual problems in a new way.
Mm-hmm.
Just completely rethink it. That's a great example of one of them, right? Wholeheartedly. And our entire portfolio is going to be leveraging Sophie to take advantage of it, not just ours, but Digital Experience and Unica and the whole stack. I mean, this solves so many problems in an immediate fashion. Automate, innovate. Yep. Man, this is cool, guys. Well, I don't know. I think we got a lid on this. I think this is where this really kind of says it all about who we are, where we're headed. I think next up, we'll need to invite a guest of honor to our session.
I do have one quick comment since this is Commerce and Cocktails.
It is.
Alcohol is a solution.
To what design problem?
Thinking outside the box.
Several, my
All
friend.
Right, fair
Several.
Several indeed. Oh, man. Well, we will be sure to grab we have several clients that have reached out, a couple of partners that have reached out. We're going to riff on the next several subjects, I think, and we'll introduce a couple of friends along the way, if that sounds pretty good to you guys.
Be a good time, man.
That would be good.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. John Beechin, thank you again. Awesome cocktail. Most impressive. It's clearly showing me that going out to a bar and having drinks made is just kind of a waste of money. You see, you're giving me inspiration.
We'll tone down the green next time, but I'm glad you're enjoying the journey as well as the destination.
All right, next up is your mocktail. I believe it was a Shirley Temple that you.
Yes. I will make the world's best mocktail on this next broadcast.
Phenomenal, guys. It's a pleasure as always. I mean, unbelievable times, right? Great week. Wish everyone safety and wellness during this holiday season in the States, and off and running, guys. It's great as always.
It is. All right.
Ciao. See ya,
guys.